know that you get back to Siouxland once in a while. You still have family here. Hopefully you've gotten around and seen some of the town this weekend. How's the area
Actually
changed?
not, because I just came in yesterday, and there's only one flight to Sioux City from Los Angeles, and I didn't make it in till late last night, so I haven't gotten a chance to go around.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, I went to Riverside today.
You still have a lot of family around here then?
Yes, but I have not been here since I was a year old, so I don't really know them, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I know you're a Catholic school graduate. How did your that education impact your future?
Well, my dad had been a coach at Notre Dame High School, and so I had always wanted to go to Notre Dame High School. So when I finished Leave It to Beaver, it would have been my freshman year, and the studio came to me and my parents, and Leave It to Beaver had run for 6 years, and that's what for the Actors Union, you can only sign a contract for 6 years. So they wanted to go in and have me do another series. And my dad was at that time fully employed. He retired as a superintendent of LA City Schools. But my parents asked me if I wanted to go on, and I said no, I want to go to Notre Dame High School, because I loved acting, and it's not that I was tortured or didn't like going to the studio, but I wanted to play sports. And so that wouldn't have happened had I done the next series. So I went to Notre Dame High School, and I spent 6 years. I was on the football team, I was on the track team, and the swimming team. When I graduated in '67, I went into the service and spent 6 years in the Air Force Air National Guard. And then I went to Berkeley. I'm a graduate of Berkeley. I have a degree in philosophy. While I was at Berkeley, and I did work somewhat. I did Lassie's, I did Hardcastle, a lot of the series, but I only worked during the summers when I was in high school. And when I went back into acting, it was after I had been a banker and a real estate agent for many years, because Tony Dow asked me to do a play with him, and I went to Kansas City and did a play, and we sold out in 2 hours, and we ended up doing a play for 18 months all around the country, and the people in New York and California said, if they're that, if they can draw that kind of a crowd, maybe we should make a movie of the week about Leave It to Beaver, an updated version, and from that we did the new Leave It to Beaver, which is 110 episodes.
You talk about your time at Berkeley. That was a pretty volatile time there, wasn't it?
It was, but I had to do a lot of studying to be able to graduate, so I wasn't as volatile as a lot of the people. But I was there when the helicopters went over and dispersed a lot of people. But as I say, I was there for an education, and I knew what I wanted, so it wasn't that I was there as a demonstrator.
Can you talk about what it was like to work with Alfred Hitchcock? Do you have any remembrance of that?
Yeah, I do remember Alfred Hitchcock. It was The Trouble with Harry. It's Shirley MacLaine's first movie. It has John Forsythe and Edmund Gwenn in it. And I was doing, before Leave It to Beaver, and this Hitchcock movies also before Leave It to Beaver, a lot of live television, because once you went on one live show as a child actor and did it right, they always hired you, because they couldn't, as I say, it was live, so they couldn't take the chance that one actor that was a child would walk out, start to cry, wander off. And so I started working at 2 years old. When I met Hitchcock, I was doing a Lux Video Theater, which was a series, but it was on live TV, and I had just come off stage, and they had my mother off stage so that she would just kind of keep me there, and it was July or August. It was very, very hot, and I asked my mother if I could go get a drink of water, which was there was a drinking, like a Sparklets bottle over there. And my mom said, no, just stay here, be quiet. And a very jolly man walked over to my mother and said, oh, I'll take him over there, don't worry about it. Walked me over, got me a glass of water, and then went out and did a commercial, and that was Alfred Hitchcock. So that was the first time I actually met him. I went about probably 6 weeks later and walked into a dressing room where he was eating lunch, and there was that happy man again. He said, hi. I said, hi. He said, how would you like to go and be in a movie with me? And I didn't even know he was a director. He says, I'm the director, and we're going to go to Vermont. Would you like that? I said, I'd like that. That sounds like a lot of fun. He said, okay, well, you've got a job. So that's how I met Hitchcock. When I really developed a relationship with him was when I was doing Leave It to Beaver, because he was doing Alfred Hitchcock Presents. So he would always drive in a big, I think it was a Rolls Royce, with a chauffeur, and I'd be outside maybe running around between scenes and just doing things, and the Rolls Royce would slow down and he would roll down the window in the back seat and look out and go, "Oh, hello, Mr. Miles. How are you today?" And he always called me, from the time I was basically probably 5 years old, Mr. Mathers. So he was the first person to even ever called me. Everyone else, especially during those times, either called me Beaver or sometimes Jerry, but no one called anybody but my father Mr. Mathers, so I was very impressed.